All right. Guess what? It's 8:59. Well, just a couple seconds before 9 o'clock. It's straight up. So spread the word that we're on. Tonight, we want to talk about a lot of things, lots and lots of things. So spread the word, share the link, and I'll be right back.
I'm in the mood, I'm feeling rude, I'm feeling hot, I want to run. The feeling exciting, so darling, let's do something. I wanna rub my body on your body, body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love up. I wanna rub and kiss up. I wanna rub and jam up. I wanna rub and rub up. I wanna rub my body on your body. Rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body. Rub my body on your body. I just get paid. I want to play. The vibes is right. I wanna hug up tight. No time to waste. I wanna work my waist. So come on, babes. Give me a taste. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love up. I wanna rub and kiss up. I wanna rub and jam up. I wanna rub and rub up. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Well, no, I'm feeling, 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 I'm feeling.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Killian Mall, 162 Lamaha Street, in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins Firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins Firm,
All right. Hey, good evening. Good evening to every one of you. Let's get started right away. You know, we don't beat around the bush. We don't play around. We get straight down to business, right? But before that, let me welcome all of you, every single one of you. Hope you've had an enjoyable weekend. Do call your friends. Do share the link because we have lots and lots of things we want to discuss with you this evening. Serious, very, very serious things. In fact, coming up later down in the program, we will be joined by the mother and other relatives of the young lady out in Bloomfield Village, right, on the quarantine. Bloomfield Village on the quarantine. Her daughter, Devi Samaru, died a couple days ago at the New Amsterdam Hospital. And here we go again. The New Amsterdam Hospital is at it again. And the question is, what's really happening? What's really happening at the New Amsterdam Hospital? I spoke with her mother. I spoke with a relative also. And they are, you can just imagine how they are feeling. This is probably the third woman to die in just a matter of couple months. And her story, it's just so sad that you listen to the mother and you will just want to break down in tears. It's reminiscent of what the mother of the other young lady, the teacher that died recently. It's overbearing. I don't know what's happening at the New Amsterdam Hospital, but they do probably need to have maybe a commission of inquiry. They need to have something at that hospital because it is beyond ridiculous. Good evening again to all of you. Hope you've had an enjoyable weekend. My name is Mark Benshap. We will rock and roll for just 1 hour. We are not going to go over the hour. And I'm just all alone, just us, all alone. What are some of the things I want to talk about this evening? Let's get right down to business. Whilst you all know that I know who you are, I know you guys are watching Gordon Dummett. And imagine his father had to name him after him. So, I mean, Dummett Senior wasn't enough. Dummett Senior had to give us Dummett. I mean, I'm sorry, right off the back of that serious story, it just, I'm looking at the names and people saying goodnight, and here it is, Gordon Dummett. I mean, I'm not making fun of the brother's name, but you know how Guyanese like a little tantalizing. I can imagine how he was like in school, Dummett. He's part of the Dummett family. Dummett. Good evening, Mr. Gordon Dummett. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with you, Mr. Dummett. Gordon Dummett should be back or should be on the show sometime to talk about an organization that he has. This is the organization, Help Us Feed People in Need. And I approve of this. It's good stuff. It's not just a PR stunt or whatever. They're serious people involved doing good things for the country. And congratulations to you, Mr. Gordon Dummett Jr. Help Us Feed People in Need. And this, I really do like it. So we will bring back Mr. Dummett sometime, or Mr. Dummett, he has never been on the program, but we will bring him sometime in the very, very near future so you could get to see what Mr. Dummett is all about. Good evening to you, Gordon Dummett Jr., and all of you, every single one of you. I know the story is very, very sad. Let me say hi to Bibi Ali. Bibi, how are you doing? Salam alaikum. I'm assuming that you are practice the faith of Islam, hence my reason for saying Salam alaikum. And Bibi Ali is watching all the way from Unity Village. Well, we all know who is from Unity Village, right? Good evening to you, Bibi. And who it is, you know, they have some folks, if I don't say anything to them, then they get upset that I just don't acknowledge them. But I want to say that I see all of you, I just cannot acknowledge every single one of you. And for the guys, because there are actually some guys who get vexed that I don't acknowledge them. Some guys actually get vexed, and Mark is supposed to acknowledge them, right? Anyway, Victor Ben, good evening to you. Good evening to Victor Ben, all the way in Canada. So we have folks from all over. We have Ann Ross. I don't know if it's the Ross from the quarantine, but wherever you're from, Ann Ross, good evening to you. And Beverly and all the other folks, every single one of you. And then we get this person here. If you don't ever say anything to her, she gets upset. And GT Root Gal, good evening to you. And then we have this guy also, J.R. Crawford. J.R. Crawford for leadership of the PNCR. J.R. Crawford for the leader, J.R. Crawford for chairman, vice chairman. What do you guys think? If JR runs for a position, you think he's going to get through? And not only whether he's going to get through or not, will you vote for him? I don't know. Let's see here. Let's just give some people a little respect. Michelle Lampkin celebrated her 65th birthday the other day. Belated birthday greetings to you, Michelle. And then there's another person who is on regularly with us. She was in the trenches with me when I was back there in Guyana. And not just with me, she was in the trenches with those of us who were in the trenches, right? It was a group of us, however small that was, but a group of us in the trenches. So Nicole Cole, it's her birth anniversary today. So happy birthday to you, Nicole Cole. My niece is also celebrating her birth anniversary. Tia, I know she doesn't watch political shows, but just in case she's watching, hi Tia, how are you? Let's see what Donna Nelson is saying. Mark, it is sad that the family for losing their loved ones. Indeed, it is very, very sad indeed. All right, like I've said, I have an interview that I conducted with the mother of Davy Samaru, and I want to share that with you just later down in the program. So I want to share that with you later down in the program. But I actually had this up from the Village Voice. Good evening to the staff at Village Voice there. And don't forget, it's the paper that tells the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Get your copies of the Village Voice. Go into places like Andrew's Supermarket and pick up your copy. You guys should be rushing down there at Andrew's Supermarket every Sunday morning, bright and early, to get a copy of the Village Voice newspaper. Look at some of the headlines. October COVID-19 deaths, over 114. 114. Over 114 deaths alone for October. I don't know. I just don't know. Then what's the other headline there? Guyanese nominated for prestigious STEM awards. Congratulations to those nominees. Then the other big headline there is Voodoo bad for business. Voodoo bad for business. Oh yeah, Gokul Voodoo is bad for business. He is the former CEO of the Guyana Elections Commission. And they're looking for another CEO because they, for obvious reasons, do not want Keith Lowenfield there. And so they come up with these fictitious charges about some unknown, unscrupulous activities there. Unknown, because it hasn't been proven yet. They have absolutely nothing to prove, right? So all of these headlines in the Village Voice newspaper. It's a paper that you can pick up on the ground. And let me see what Donna Nelson is asking here. Can we get this newspaper to buy on the quarantine? I'm sure that you can get copies on the quarantine. Maybe when Lincoln Lewis comes on, or maybe you guys can go on the Village Voice page on Facebook and inbox them, ask them these sort of questions. Go right ahead, ask them. Good question. Is it under quarantine? I assume it's under quarantine, but please, I'm not sure where. It's in Linden, it's in Georgetown. So you can get your copies. I see Leslyn Hamilton. How are you doing? Leslyn Hamilton is saying no to voodoo. No to voodoo. No to voodoo. All of you, not just Leslyn, should be saying no to voodoo. All of you should be saying no to voodoo. No to voodoo. Absolutely no to voodoo. Right? In fact, voodoo should not have even applied. He should be ashamed of himself to even want to apply for that position. But then again, Gokul Voodoo probably has absolutely no shame, especially what happened in the 2006 elections when he gave that one seat over to Sam Hines and the PPP, who sat there for 5 years on a stolen seat. And these guys have no shame, none whatsoever. And so here it is now. He's applying for the same position, the same job, the same institution that he helped mess up. And that's it. So he should not be back there at all. Not at all. Shoy Gibson, good evening to you. Wayne Peters. Wayne Peters is saying that he should have been in jail. I agree with you, Wayne Peters. When I saw that should have been in jail stuff, sometimes who knows. But when you see jail stuff and who should be in jail, anyways, speaking of jail, good evening to Basil Williams, if he's watching. Basil Williams, it appears as though Basil Williams wants to throw his hat in the race to run for leadership or something of the People's National Congress reform. Now, I'm not a member of the party, and I'm not going to say who should run or who shouldn't run, right? But I also know who should probably take a back seat or who is just in the race for in the race sake. There are some of them who are in the race for in the race sake, for a little bit of Facebook publicity and these sort of things, right? Don't ask me to call names. I'm not calling any names. Don't ask me to support anyone at this point in time. I am not supporting anyone. Maybe I just don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm just not going to. I'm not feeling that vibes. I notice our operator is giving me thumbs up. Lemon is saying, good job. But at the end of the day, as I would say, who wins, right? So here is what this, and I'm going to go along with some of you because it's your night as well. Vox Popula, right? The voice of the people. We are going to gaff this evening. We're going to have a nice, respectful discussion. I see none of the Norton folks on start abusing. Let me see. Any Norton folks start abusing out yet? Good evening to Mr. Aubrey Norton and all of the candidates. I should have them back sometime soon, including Mr. Norton. Let me see if any people them abusing out or cussing out yet. No, none of them abusing and cussing out yet. It's a good thing. We're going to have a nice, smooth night. All right, so let's get back to Candace Narayan is saying here, Basil need to relax. Basil actually issued a long statement on his Facebook page, a resume. It is so long that I think people are still reading it. And people may not stop reading it until, they may not finish reading it until maybe after Congress is held on December 11th. You know, after Congress is held on December 11th. Now, what are my views on whether others should throw their hat in the race? They should throw their hat. Anybody can throw their hat. Once you have a hat, throw your hat in the race. You know, Michelle Lampkin, if you have a hat, throw your hat in the race. Shoy Gibson, if you have a hat, just dash. Everybody throwing and dashing their hat in the race. It's okay. It's an open field. It's democracy. That is what it's about. Some of you like a candidate. Some of you don't like another candidate. It is democracy. It is what it's about. That is what elections is about. I see one, I don't know. Thank you for your comment, Candace Narain. But I noticed this other comment here. Basil is a waste of time. I don't know whether I'll agree with that, Mr. Juan Anthony, that Basil is a waste of time, because, oftentimes people love to discredit individuals, And I think we still got to give Jacket's jacket or his jacket or Jane her jacket. So I wouldn't say that Basil is a waste of time. I just wouldn't say that. And sometimes we get into these sort of emotional things. And now, I'm not saying that you are emotional. I'm not saying that at all. So don't get me wrong, because these days some men seem to be more touchy, and you would expect that from a female. Again, Juan Anthony, this is not throwing any shades at you, because some people seem to think that I'm good at throwing shades. God in heaven know what they mean by that. Malcolm Luther, how are you, sir? So I wouldn't say that Basil is a waste of time. I would say that maybe Basil should probably consider relaxing, consider some other position. I'm not saying that he's running, that he has announced that he's running for anything. But if he wants to get in the race, he has that right, right? But there's one thing, though. There's one thing concerning his resume. There's one thing concerning his resume that I want to address. In his long resume, I don't know, his resume could probably, his long resume, I saw that he added that he's responsible for putting together a very strong defense in my treason trial. And, whilst I'm appreciative of all of these things, yes, and I don't want some of you guys to get the impression that I'm ungrateful to anything or anybody. I'm not. I've always been thankful to the lawyers, because I had a battery of lawyers, right, who got together as a team to work to expose the trumped-up nature of the treason charge. And so Basil Williams was one of many lawyers. And so it will be unfair for one lawyer to take credit for the work of all the other lawyers who were on the team. There were Roysdale Ford there. I've never heard Roysdale Ford going out there taking credit. Roysdale acknowledged that he was one of the lawyers. I've never heard a couple of female lawyers who were on there too, Miss Martindale, and a couple others. In fact, scores of folks were there on that treason trial there for me. And so I feel a way when one individual attempts to take credit or blatantly would want to take credit, for everything. And so I've had reasons to talk to Basil about this before. And when I saw it again, I smiled. Basil is also I don't know who Faith LaRose is, but good evening to you. And it's not a forum that we just, we are a family here on Straight Up, right? And we know when some of the trenchies come on, we know how vulgar they get and disrespectful, but this is not a program for that. We can disagree with each other, but in a respectful manner. And that's all I'm saying. So the other thing is that I saw Basil Williams actually said that he was responsible for my pardon. Politics, huh? Politics. And again, I say that that is not true. Basil Williams, or no one can, there are folks who have contributed in terms of exposing and protesting and all these things in terms of my treason trial. And I'm very grateful for that. But no one person is entitled for that. And if Basil Williams is watching, you know, I have nothing personal against you, Basil, but let's not go down that route again. I recall, and I'll say this story before I move on. A particular evening, I believe it was the 25th of August, I got a call from the officers to say that I have counsel visits. And counsel visits simply means that your lawyers are there to visit you. And I went up, I put on my slippers and my short pants, and I'm walking up with handcuffs and everything. And I was happy to see, because whenever you have counsel visits, you get fresh air and all these things. It's like you're going to town, right? And so I saw Basil Williams after maybe 4 years, 3.5 to 4 years. I've never seen him since then. And so he went along with the then opposition leader, Mr. Robert Corbyn, and they asked me to write a letter to Barra Jagdeo apologizing. So I was like, and Basil, if you're watching, I was a bit disappointed with that. And I'm still disappointed, because fighters do not do that. Fighters, real fighters, do not do that. They do not apologize for something that they haven't done. And they do not apologize to oppressors. Fighters don't do that. And so I was offended that Mr. Corbyn and Basil Williams would actually had the nerve to ask me to pen a letter right there apologizing to Barra Jagdeo. I looked at both gentlemen in their eyes and I said that there will be no apology, and no one will write any letter on my behalf apologizing for nothing, absolutely nothing. I think, in fact, the only person who should be apologizing here is Barra Jagdeo. Apologized for trumped up treason charge, apologized for the conditions under which I was kept at Camp Street. He is the one should be apologizing for denying me an early trial and all these different things. And I looked at those two gentlemen and I walked. I said to the officer, take me back into my solitary confinement, that I prefer to rot in prison than to apologize for a crime or something that they claim that I've done that I didn't do. That's all I said to Basil, that there will be no apologies. So I don't know what credit Basil is now attempting to take for my pardon. I don't know. But Basil, good evening to you. If you're going to get into the race, let's be honest. Let's do what we have to do. I know you want to you want to present a resume that you have done a heck of a lot, and I'm not saying that you have not. Basil represented people pro bono, including in my treason trial. It was pro bono as well. I know that he has represented a lot of other folks pro bono. So this is not to take away from Basil or whatever, but you know, who feels it knows. And I'm talking my story, and I know that I totally disagree with anyone who wants to take credit for my pardon. So pardon me. Let's move on now, right? Now that I got that out of the way. There are a lot of things that happened behind the scene during my incarceration that I prefer not to say at this point in time. But I know who were in the trenches. I know who were the real grassroots people who were with me at that time, before and after. Before, during my incarceration as well, and after. I know who those individuals are. And that's why when I look at leaders or politicians, I like to see fighters, real fighters, mind you, real fighters. Here we go. Speaking of fighter, Vanessa Kissoon. Ms. Vanessa Kissoon, former member of parliament, right? Former member of parliament. She was actually, I would say, expelled from the party without a hearing, meaning that her membership card, her membership was not renewed. It was not renewed. And tonight, I'd like to say, all those who have participated in this, that I would go as far to say, shame on them. Shame on them. Whatever the circumstances that led to her membership not being renewed, she was being disrespectful. People are being disrespectful every single day in political parties. And I don't see any reason why Ms. Vanessa Kissoon should have been languishing outside of the party from an official standpoint with no membership card. And to the leadership of the PNCR, I do call on all of you right now, those of you who are listening, that to ensure that her membership is renewed and that she is reinstated with immediate effect. You cannot talk about unity when behind the scene you're shutting people out from being members and all of these things. Ms. Vanessa Kissoon has spent over 4 years, I believe, without her membership card of the PNCR. Without her membership card. It is time that she be given back her membership card of the party with immediate effect. No one has to wait until they're elected leader and all of these things to get this done. It can be done right now, and it should be done right now. Having said that, congratulations to Mr. Sharma Solomon, who has gotten his membership card renewed just a couple days ago. Congratulations to Mr. Sharma Solomon. Now it's Ms. Vanessa Kissoon's turn. I've noticed someone ask why. Well, there was some sort of disagreement between herself and Mr. Oscar Clark, and there was some sort of exchange of some nice, fancy words, and she was basically put out. And I think she and Oscar Clark made up, so to speak, and she apologized to Oscar. Oscar apologized to her, and I do believe that's where the matter should have ended. I do believe that this should have ended. It should have ended right there. But for 4 years, despite this woman, this strong woman, who didn't run to any other party, because this didn't run to any other party, there are lots of folks who fit in that category who didn't run. And she is one of them who didn't run. She assisted them in Region 10. She assisted the party in 2011 that they got the victory. She was there as part of the team. She was there in 2015. My good friend, Mr. David Arthur Granger, was in Linden. They held hands, they were on stage, and all of these things. And during that time, she was still not a member of, an official, member of the party, because they refused to give her back her membership card. So I'm calling on the leadership of the PNCR to restore her membership with immediate effect. It can be done. All they need to do is to call a meeting amongst the central executive members, pass a motion, and that's it. And her membership will be restored. According to information, Mr. Oscar Clark has absolutely nothing. He says he doesn't have a problem. He and Miss Vanessa Kisoon are okay now. So what's stopping this process, PNCR? What is stopping this process? What is preventing you guys from calling a meeting of the Central Executive? It can be done this week and a motion be presented. This week it can be done. Once it is done this week, guess what? Guess who's getting into the race for something? And she should. I see everybody else getting in the race. But this woman is a fighter, a real fighter. And ain't nothing wrong if she gets in the race. Nothing wrong. It is fighters like these that will motivate people to go out and vote. Real fighters. That's all I wish to say. Real fighters. Ben Shop is being mischievous, right? Ben Shop is being very mischievous. Very, very mischievous. I wonder why. Well, pray for me, right? Speaking of prayer. Here's what's happening. This man, Donald Ramotar, he has become irrelevant. Irrelevant. And so he's seeking some sort of relevance, right? He doesn't want prayers in schools. He doesn't. And that has been a debate for a while now. Prayers in school or no prayers in school. But he sat there as a minority president. He sat there as a minority president. He wasn't concerned about these sort of things. He didn't say nothing. But now he's no longer minority president. He's talking about no prayers in school and all these different things. It's like these guys go to bed and they wake up, and whatever they wake up with, whatever they wake up and pass through the head, that's it. Anything that fly out the head. So he goes to bed one night, he gets up. And we don't want no prayers in school. We don't want no prayers in school. There should be no prayers in school. And when he says that, he knows that he will be getting the attention because it's a controversial issue and he wants to be relevant because nobody's paying him any mind. Nobody's paying him any mind. The last time he wrote a set of garbage about the incident between with Freddie Kisoon and Freddie Kisoon's nephew and Ramotar's son with that accident, right? And I haven't heard from him back when I set the record straight with him that he's in no position to talk about that issue. None whatsoever. And now we gone now talking about prayers. Let's pray for this guy. Father, we take this opportunity to ask that you renew some sort of sense in this man, Donald Ramotar's head, you know, because it seems as though cockroach or wood ants eating out whatever little brain, very little. You see the size? Yeah, very little brain he has. Now, I mean, if the issue, the debate is, thank you, folks, for that. Amen. I recall as a little boy on the quarantine, you say your prayers. I can't recall what the prayers in school, but I used to cut my eyes and peep out and these sort of things. I don't know if he wants Hindu prayers, if he wants Muslim prayers, if he wants Christian prayers or Rastafari prayers or whatever. I don't know if he wants every morning at the assembly, everybody say, Jah Rastafari, Aliyah Selassie, Jah. Right? I don't know if that's what he wants. Sean Williams, I don't know if that's what he wants. Or he wants a morning Hindi devotion. Matiri mamata kitina pya. Kitina, well, that's actually probably that whole song. But the actual one for Hindi and thing is, Tumewa mata, chapita tumewa bandu. Is that what he wants in schools? And I don't know. These guys are so confusing. These guys are so brainless. You know, I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like just giving this guy, Donald Ramotar, his award for the night. Here goes. He deserved that. Donald Ramotar deserved that. Now, there's one other thing I want to discuss before I get back to that mother there in Bloomfield Village. This guy is now abusing out SOCU, the Special Organized Crime Organization or crime unit or whatever it is. And he is vexed because right? Because they are not going after people from the former administration. Now they have no goddamn evidence. How Tanti Moral wants to, well, here it is. I'm Ben Shaw back with a name calling. Right, it's okay. Sometimes we do it right here on 107.1 FM. Tanti Moral, because he feels that the agency is not going after these people, is not going after this guy, is not going after others. And that's his problem. He has a serious problem. Now, if the agency, I know, are you guys seeing? Let me pause for a moment since it's your night, the people's night. I'm with you tonight. I'm with all of you tonight. Let me get your reaction as you look. Look at this guy's face. Tell me, Renee Mackenzie Talbot and others, tell me and be honest. What exactly do you see? I'll sit back for about a minute. Comment. What do you see on this guy's face right now? What exactly do you see? Are you seeing what I am seeing? Are you guys seeing what I am seeing? Come on, Garfield Collins. Deborah Rodney says hate. Charwin McCrae says cross. Come on, you guys can do it. You know, there's a Jamaican gospel singer that's on Facebook. I like when she says, come on, man. Right? I'm going to say it to you guys. Come on, man. Yeah, come on, man. What do you guys see on that face? You can do it more. Describe this. Come on, man. Come on. You can do it, guys. Come on, a little more. Our operator, Lemon, is just smiling up here. Come on, man. You can do it. You can do it. Yeah, I'll try there. When you catch all y'all and put y'all in the black book. I know you're wronging y'all up tonight. This is Halloween mask. Danny Ram, thank you. This is Halloween mask. That is Halloween mask indeed. Come on, man. Right? So now he is upset, not just obsessed, but he is upset that SOCU is not going after former Minister of Finance, Mr. Winston Jordan, and all these other guys. Winston Jordan used to probably write his speeches for him and do the budget and all these sort of things when Winston was working under Jack there at Ministry of Finance there. Because Winston Jordan is a brain. He has a lot of brains. I don't know what to say about Tanti Moral, but let's get back to Tanti Moral and his stupidity. And so with that said, you know what he deserves. Here goes. This is for you, Tanti Moral. And Donald Ramotar doesn't want prayers in school. Soon Donald Ramotar may ask for prayers to be shut down in churches too. But looking at this guy, I tell you guys this, we do need prayers. And not only prayers, we need a heck of a lot of prayers. Lots of prayers. Welcome back. Mark Benchap here, 45 minutes after 9 o'clock. I noticed our operator is signaling to me that we should get to this here. Now, this young lady, Devi Samaru, died at the New Amsterdam Hospital. You know, shame on those folks at the New Amsterdam Hospital. Shame on them. This is like the third death in just a short space of time. And I want you guys to hear what the mother has to say. And I do hope that it is loud enough. Let's go.
I know the autopsy. Good evening. How are you doing? Yeah, and you are the mother of Devi Samaru, who passed away at the New Amsterdam Hospital.
Yes.
All right. Can you? I know the postmortem was done today. Can you give us a quick update on how that occurred, and were you guys allowed, and what's the cause of death?
You want me to start, like?
Yes. Whatever information they gave you.
Okay. Friday afternoon, 6 to 7:30, they came in at the hospital. She didn't feel good, and she called me over to Kershi Hospital. And she start fasting, and the belly start to pain. She go in pain, like, to get baby. Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
And then I will go with them now. Me and my sister go, and she husband. So then I allowed my son-in-law to go. Me and my sister go, and I will go straight to the labor room. And when I will go now, then carrying this girl, and take this girl with a bag, and then carrying this girl. So me tell my son-in-law to buy something. So when she don't get baby, she go get something to eat. So now when we buy this thing now, maybe for this thing to go up on the door and knock and hand she this thing. But if I bring the thing now, I go and knock on the door and give she this thing, she color this thing for me. And she tell me say how, and I tell her say get 4 cm to get a baby. So I say okay then. I say I'm not gonna wait till I come. I say it doesn't make sense about wait so late there. So I become me. When I become me now, me I was like she go get baby like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and they go carry she ward and so. So when me go for 6 o'clock now, me go ward. And when me go ward now, she not ready. Then tell me say I'm gonna check a labor room. And me go down to check a labor room. And when we go knock on the door now, you can't open mom and go in, so you have to knock, you have to rap. So me rap the door now and take the lamp to come. So when they come now, they answer me, and she tell me, say, if you rap the door, and nobody in answer, if me can't hold on. So I tell her, I'm sorry, nurse, I mean, I know. So she asked who we come to, I tell her, so come see Devi Samaru. So she tell me, so I can't see Devi Samaru. So I can't see Devi, I can't see Devi. Say, when they look after she. So he called me back and me asked me if I have to call anything. So I'm telling yes, I know. They don't like to get back the bag while you're carrying there. So I'm telling me hold on outside, a couple body moving outside. And I wait over 1 hour, nobody now come out. So the nurse come out from the room and ask me, say, if my wait for anybody, we tell her yes, I'm a wait for baby. Yes, for baby. Hand me a bag. So he said, me can't see Davy, and he said, me can't see the baby. So I say, okay then, tell Davy, say, me left you back to 12 o'clock. Till that Saturday. Now, when we go back when we go back Saturday afternoon now, midday, right? When we go back midday now, she still laying ward. We go ward first, let's check. I'm not going now, the ward. I was sending me to the labor room. I'm going to labor room now. She did it. So she did it. When we go now, we rap on the door, they open the door. And I asked, so who want to speak to me? I said, I want to speak to Davey. So until we say, let me, so we can start to labor, see Davey. So I turn on, now the nurse asks, Carl and Davey, and as Davey take the labor, but that to him, or she shake her head. Because she did right by the door, and Davey, I'm crazy. So you're right by the door. But when I see full, like, you know, there's a little thing. And she come, they put you on a wheelchair and bring in front of the door. And then outside now, we get another wheelchair, a couple of wheelchair, mother. She hold me hold your hand and she go up in another wheelchair.
All right. So you get an idea as to what's transpiring there, right? And you have that idea, and we want to say condolences to the family, the mother, the father, the other brothers and sisters of this young lady. Her mother there is expressing herself, right? She is hurt. She's from the quarantine, Bloomfield Village. And I've noticed that one or two people just trying to make mockery of what she's saying. This is a mother who is from the countryside of Guyana. Most of us understand, right? So this is not a time to make mockery of the woman's manner of speech and these sort of things. Absolutely not. We all can understand. Have you guys ever listened to an interview? The pastor, that controversial pastor in Jamaica, died, and one of the eyewitnesses, una listen to mani attack and we are this, you know, y'all wouldn't laugh at that. But, you know, I don't think that it is funny that this woman is expressing herself. She's hurt. She's talking about what transpired just prior to her daughter's death and her granddaughter's death. And people would have that heart to want to make mockery of some of the way that she's speaking. You know, I grew up in the country and it's so we saw attack, right? But there are times when we might make a little smile, a little joke about it or whatever. But now is not the time to laugh this woman here. Please, it's not the time. We'll listen to her for another minute and we'll move on with the story.
And so she saw the wheelchair and she grabbed up on the wheels. And you cried, so I said, girl, so I ran, so I happy, so I picked it, and I happy, so he said, give me something to drink. So I had only my same mouth, and I opened the milk, and we can do it for drink. So when you drink this milk, he said, say how my baby dead. So I said, since what the time is baby dead? He said, the nurse told us he dead like after 5. So I tell her, say, we come to 6 o'clock, when the nurse began to tell me, come out and talk to me and tell me.
So again, you're hearing the grandmother, the mother of this deceased young lady, Devi Samaru, is saying that when she went to the hospital, right, nobody told her anything. Her daughter was in a depressed state, right? Nobody told her anything that the baby died. No one pulled her aside. No one told her anything at all. Nothing at all. I don't know. Continue listening for another minute, please, guys. This is important.
Say, your baby and this baby dead. So why you can't do that? You shake hearing to me, you know. So I tell him, say, he tell me, say, like you want full light out, saying you have to sit up on the chair. So they carry back from the door and they call it chair and carry you back to the bed. That's Saturday. Sunday morning, we come here. Sunday morning, we go back to visiting time. When we go for visiting time now, they lock the door. When they lock the door now, hello?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
When they lock the door now, somebody told the the people who will visit the outside, so they tell me say how. Say one girl they in there, so me ask and say how long the girl there, so the girl just there. So then they hear they open go for open the door and see them picture to go in now with a slug bag around put to the patient because them there for the girl. And now when
You know, the mother broke down at that point in time. You know, it's just so sad what is happening. The family want justice, just like the teacher that died also under similar circumstances. You know, their family members want justice, need justice. And it's cases like these here. I call upon the relevant folks within the opposition to go and take up these cases, to be there with these people. You know, it is worth it. Not just for votes or photo op and these sort of things. They're human beings. And whether next elections they vote for whomever, it is okay. It is okay. It is just okay. So the relevant person in the coalition, maybe the Shadow Minister of Health, Dr. Karen Cummings, should start paying careful attention to these cases. Good evening to you, Dr. Cummings. Start paying careful attention to these cases. It is sad. It is getting worse. Let's get back to another portion before we wrap up with this segment here.
And then I get up and then go jump on to sit phone and then I get up and I'm laying on the bed. I'm hearing in the morning.
You know, she's just going through and saying how they're feeling right now. Her husband, this young lady that died, her husband, she has a 6-year-old daughter who keeps asking, when is mommy and my sister, baby sister, gonna come home? When mommy and my baby sister gonna come home? When mommy and my baby sister gonna come home? I hope Dr. Frank Anthony is listening to that little child's voice. I can just imagine what it's like, because the grandmother, the mother of this deceased woman said that that's all her 6-year-old granddaughter is asking. When mommy and baby sister come home? When mommy and baby sister come home? Dr. Frank Anthony, can you answer that question? When mommy and baby sister come home? You know, when? I don't know. I don't know. Now, our condolences to the family and friends of Devi Samaru. Our condolences to the family members. Sad situation. Now, tomorrow is elections in New York City. It is elections in New York, not just New York City. Lots of places people are running for mayorship. They're running for other positions and so forth. You know, Bill de Blasio, nice guy. I suspect he will be running for governor. But tomorrow, people will be voting for a new mayor. And after they vote for a new mayor, I believe on January 20th, that new mayor will be sworn in. The front runner in this, and I know both gentlemen, I know Eric Adams, who is borough president of Brooklyn. He is the front runner. And I also know the Republican candidate, Curtis Sliwa. Many of you should know Curtis. Guardian Angel guys, he's right there. And so I don't want to say it, but I'll have to say it. I do think Curtis is going to get a trashing tomorrow by Eric Adams. And so go out and vote. And I know a lot of you, especially folks out in Brooklyn and other areas, within the 5 boroughs, you will be going out. Maybe Curtis is going to pick up some votes out in Staten Island area. But we all know that Eric Adams got this. Eric Adams got this. Eric Adams, once he is elected, and we are all optimistic that he will be elected, Eric Adams will become the second black mayor, the second person of African descent to be mayor of New York City. The first was David Dinkins. David Dinkins lasts for one term. But once Eric Adams becomes the next mayor of New York City, let us hope that he wouldn't last for one term. Let us also hope that he will bring about some necessary changes here in New York City. I know a lot of Guyanese are working on his campaign. A lot of them are part of Eric Adams' team. Congratulations, it is teamwork. And when you guys go out and vote tomorrow, vote for candidates that make sense. Now let's go all the way to Albany. And there's another person that is running. It's considered a write-in candidate, I believe that's what it's called, where you just go, you vote, but you write in the candidate's name. This person who's a regular, and we appreciate that she watches us here on 107.1 FM, straight up, Miss Valerie F. Foist. She's a former teacher. She taught for many years in Brooklyn and so forth, but she is now running to unseat the incumbent out there in Albany so that she can become the next mayor of Albany, New York. Miss Sheeny, she's trying to unseat Sheeny. I hope I'm pronouncing the mayor their name, but once all goes well, Valerie F. Foist can be that upset, can be that outside horse in the race. So if you are in Albany and you can vote, go tomorrow in the polling booths, at the polling stations, and ask Valerie F. Foist to write her name in. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow night we will be announcing that the next mayor of Albany is Valerie F. Foist. Valerie F. Foist. Or if you're in New York City, Eric Adams is the guy. We support and we endorse Eric Adams. And we ask of you, we support and we endorse Miss Valerie F. Foist. If she hits this off, she will become the first, I believe, African-American person to be sitting in the mayor's office in Albany. Good luck to all of the candidates, especially the candidates of our choice, right? Eric Adams and for New York City, and Valerie F. Foist for Albany. All right, what else is happening? What else can I speak about before I go? There's something else that our operator Lemon wanted me. Oh, there we go. Lemon has a mind like a 30-year-old, despite he is almost 74. Almost 74. He's probably younger than that too. So since this guy, the president of the Guyana Teachers Union, since he said that they're calling on Irfan Ali to meet, I don't know. Whatever I want to say, I might as well just say it some other time. I don't know. What's going on with the teachers? What's happening, Mr. Mark Light? What's really happening? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lemon, for taking that off. Miss Allen is saying Ghanaians coming tomorrow to Guyana to meet the de facto regime. Yes, the de facto regime, indeed, the de facto regime. I don't know. I'll probably talk about that tomorrow. And I see Miss Foist, Valerie F. Foist. She says, "Thank you. I will be the first African-American person to be mayor of Albany, New York." Yes, I know not a lot of African-American mayors we have in a lot of towns, in a lot of cities, and those things need to change. So if you're in Albany Go out tomorrow. Ms. Foist is a write-in candidate. It simply means she is running as a Democrat. Yes, but you'll have to write in her name. Walk in there tomorrow, call your friends, call your relatives, and write her name in. They have some other candidates apart from the incumbent mayor. They have lots of other persons, Purdue and others, but the only popular African American face in this race is Valerie F. Foist. Go out tomorrow in Albany and vote for her. Even if you're not in Albany, call a friend, call relatives who are there, and ask them to go out and vote for this woman to become the next mayor of Albany and the first African American person to sit in that position. It's been too long. Tomorrow, we will witness another history in the making of Eric Adams becoming the second person to be elected mayor of New York City. Eric Adams, the late David Dinkins, was the first. We have now, we've had one African-American governor, one, and that is David Patterson. David Patterson became governor by default because, as you know, he was the first African-American to be the lieutenant governor. And then he became the governor by default. Now we have a second African-American who is a lieutenant governor. He is, his mother is from Guyana. That is Brian Benjamin, Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin, who was on this show, no stranger to a lot of you. But in the gubernatorial race next year, lots of folks will get in the race. Bill de Blasio is going to get in the race. Letitia James, who is Attorney General, possibly will get in the race. Possibly. But it will be a big chance because she'll have to give up that Attorney General position. She'll have to resign, then run. Would she want to do that? I'm not sure. If she does run, though, and she wins, she will become the first, I was going to say the first woman to be elected because the current governor became governor by default also. Nevertheless, she is the first female governor in that female to become governor of New York. So lots of history in the making, lots of history in the making. So let me say congrats to all of the candidates. Congrats to Eric Adams. He has this. It's locked, I'm sure. And Miss Valerie Fawcett may very well have it locked as well tomorrow. Go out, vote for Valerie Fawcett in Albany. She is a write-in candidate, I believe. Go out, call your friends, call your relatives, vote for her. Eric Adams, vote for him. And your other candidates, vote for them as well. And then we can go back into the candidates in Guyana for the PMCR leadership. But let's take care of business here tomorrow first. Let's take care of that business, right? I've noticed my operator, Lemon, is saying that time to go. Tomorrow, same place, same time. God bless you. And don't forget again, go out and vote. Don't complain. Vote. Just vote. Vote because people have policies. And Eric Adams has some good policies that he's offering. I know Eric, Curtis, a good guy, but Eric is the better guy. Miss Foyce, has some good stuff in store for people out there in Albany. Go out and vote for people because of the policies that they have in store for you and your family. We'll be back tomorrow. Here we go. For all of you. Bye-bye.
That little ditty we used to torment our teachers with when we were kids goes something like this. Onward, upward, Mary had a go. Day by day she tied it to a rope, till at length they got past the rope, and Miss Mary had to run behind it. We had a lot of fun with that, but do you actually know how beautiful these words are? Here's the Song of Guyana's Children. by W. Hawley Bryant. Born in the land of the mighty Roraima, land of great rivers and far-stretching sea, so like the mountains, the sea and the river, great, wide and deep in our lives would we be. Onward, upward may we ever go, day by day in strength and beauty grow, till at length we each of us may show what Guyana sons and daughters can be. Born in the land of Kaijur, shining splendor, land of the palm tree, the croton and fern, we would possess all the virtues and graces, we all the glory of goodness would learn. Onward, upward, may we ever go, day by day in strength and beauty grow, till at length we each of us may show what Guyana sons and daughters